welcome everybody. This is going to be the Bushland Scouting Report Show. We're coming to you live from the Coconut Palace. As you can tell, school is out, and everybody's favorite assistant coach, Travis Marsh, my partner in this podcast, is also working double shifts as
parent and
podcast
host. Yeah, there it is. So I guess podcast co-host.
So here we are. Let's start first by wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Playing some Thanksgiving football.
Yeah, man, and that's always awesome. Now, before we get started, we know we're going to have our Who Are They section coming up. If this all works out correctly...
Producing on the fly here, people.
We will make that happen, but we have a special guest. And again, just for those that are listening, happy Thanksgiving. And, maybe you're on your way to Vernon, America to watch the Bearcats play. We do have a scheduling discrepancy. It has been pointed out to the UIL and Max Preps. We are not playing at 7 like the UIL broadcast says, their bracket says. We are playing at 5 p.m. Okay.
If you get there at 7, it's going to be pretty close to being decided.
Yeah, you'll know it a lot. You'll know a lot more than we knew at 5.
Yes.
And so, Vernon, America, 5 p.m., Lion Stadium, 2102 Yucca. All right, and it's going down. And so we're going to learn about the Bushland Falcons. Okay, but before we dive into football, my brother is going to be our special guest today for Who Are They?
And explain to those out there listening, what is Who Are They? For those that are new.
We just want, that's the first question that anybody always asks.
Who and where?
Yeah, who are we playing this week? Bushland. Who are they?
Exactly.
Where are they? And so we're going to take care of these. But the thing about my brother joining us on this show is he's not in here with us like my dad was last week. He's in Philadelphia.
We're worldwide, people.
Well, that's America.
But geography's not my strength, I guess. But we actually are worldwide.
I do appreciate your gusto there. All right, we digress.
I'm not cutting out any of this laughter.
Please don't. I hope I can bring joy to someone's life. All right, so here we go. Let's phone a friend, and Caleb Marsh will be on the hotline.
Checking in live now.
All right.
We need a sounder. Ooh, wow, it's working.
Hey, I kind of feel like Regis Philbin right now. I feel like we're phoning a friend. So, well, hey Caleb, how are you?
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, how are you guys doing tonight?
Man, we're doing fantastic. Let me turn you up a little bit here.
More Caleb.
Yeah, let's turn old C Marsh up.
Okay.
All right. So as we explained to our podcast listeners here, you're in Philadelphia. We're in Pilot Point. We're actually in your old bedroom. So, in any case, man, how's everything in Philadelphia?
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's better because on Friday nights I have my little ritual. I settle in on the couch and get me a little bit of food, turn on the TV, crank up YouTube, turn on the Bearcats. And so the fact that y'all are still playing in Thanksgiving week is really, really awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it. Things here are good, and I'm ready to watch some more Bearcat football.
Well, I know that with all of the whole pandemic crisis that's going on, I know that you have 4 little nephews and a niece that really miss you, and we'll be happy when we get to see you. But I'm glad that you can enjoy a little Bearcat football.
Yeah, it's been fun, and I miss all those little ones a lot. But I guess being able to watch stuff that's happening back at Pilot Point allows me to feel like I can connect to home a little bit, and then it's an honor to be here with y'all on the podcast, because I'm a huge podcast listener, so it's an honor to be part of one of my favorites.
Would this be your first podcast appearance on?
Oh man, I think it might be. Yeah, well, I think so.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. It's cool.
No problem.
Now, excuse me.
Sorry,
Kirby.
Yeah,
here, Bearcat Insider.
Yeah.
I'm looking because you say you listen from Pennsylvania. I'm looking at our statistics here. We have 2 listeners from Limerick, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And we have 1 from Philadelphia. Which one do you want to claim?
Well, I'll claim the one from Philly. I would say the other is one of my relatives, my in-laws, and he was a former college football player.
What's up, Uncle Phil?
Yeah, Uncle Phil is he tunes in typically on a Friday night as well. So it's not just me; it's a family affair. I've roped in all of the Philly relatives to listen to the game. So
awesome.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Well, one last comment before we get down to business here. Man, what a year to be in Philly, and thankfully the Eagles are almost as awful as the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's weird because there's this race for the NFC East championship, and I don't feel like it's like congratulations ? Because is it really worth winning the NFC East? I don't even know if it means anything. So yeah, it's not a bad time because I think everybody's just.
It means a more terrible draft pick. That's what it means.
How awful would it be in your current state if the Cowboys were the only NFC East that was terrible?
The fact that it's everybody makes it so much easier to deal with. Because if we were on the bottom of the stack, and by we, I mean Cowboys, because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be worth dealing with.
And you're embedded deep behind enemy lines up there.
Oh, deep behind enemy lines. Yeah.
I do enjoy your Facebook posts of the streets of Philadelphia.
Yeah. That's my bit. That's my bit. Whenever they lose,
it's awfully quiet on the streets of Philadelphia.
It's
because it's to be honest, it's the only time it's ever quiet on the streets of Philadelphia.
Yes.
After an Eagles loss. So.
Well, so the Bearcats this week, we have the Bushland Falcons, and the first question that anybody always asks is, who are they and where are they? And so you're our guest this week, and so I know you've done your due diligence. So, Caleb, I'm going to turn it over to you. Who are they?
I love this. I love the Who Are They segment. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite parts because I'm always curious too. So this was really fun for me to kind of dig in and learn about Bushland and I guess the first thing we'll just set it on the map. It's in the Panhandle. It's in Potter County. If anybody's ever been to Potter County, it's about 354 miles from Pilot Point. If you go west from Pilot Point, and you get
that's a pretty exact estimation.
It's exactly. If you look at a map, it is 354 miles from Pilot Point directly to Bushland. But I know that no one's actually going to Bushland, which is kind of a shame because it's kind of cool. It's actually along the old Route 66, and Bushland is actually one of 14 towns that are remaining as part of the Route 66, the old school towns, and so it's really pretty cool.
Through it, and I'm sure you have, and as you're probably going to get to, everyone has that's ever went west. They just don't realize they've driven through it yet.
100%.
Yeah. Just kind of like Clyde 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No one knew where Clyde was, but then Travis figured out he had been to the Jack in Box.
No, Caleb and I stopped at the Whataburger.
Oh, the Whataburger.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Sponsorships are available. Yep. Jack in the Box or Whataburger.
But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's and this is what we'll find is this. Even the history of this little town is a lot like the histories of all these other little towns around Texas. And I think the coolest part about it is if you were driving out to Bushland, you'd get to go through the Cadillac Ranch. If you've ever seen the Cadillac Ranch, if you've ever seen that, then you've basically you've been to Bushland because it's about 15 miles.
So you can pick up your spray paint cans in Bushland.
Yep.
But you'd have to go
100%.
past Cadillac Ranch to get to Bushland to turn around and go back. But
that's right. Yep. It'd probably be easier just to grab them in Amarillo.
They're pretty pricey at the one convenience store that's near Cadillac Ranch, so you may want to go on to Bushland and get you some spray paint and come back.
There you go. So it's really close in proximity to Amarillo, and it is one of these old Route 66 historic towns. Pretty cool. It only has about, at least according to the internet, it only has about 1,300 people in the town. It's a small town. But the high school has an enrollment of about a little over 520. So it's a pretty big high school.
That's 100
for
people.
Such a.
That's 100 more bullets than we got.
Yeah, so it's a pretty large school for the small size of the town. So that's just kind of the breakdown of like where it is and that. But there's some cool history about the town of Bushland if y'all are interested in hearing anything.
Well, yes,
about that
that's
too.
why we brought you on.
Yeah, man.
So it's going to be a little bit roundabout, but I promise I'll get there because it's really cool. The history of Bushland starts in Illinois, and it starts because of all things, what we think of as one of the most like Texan of all things, barbed wire. So Joseph Glidden is one of the inventors of barbed wire, and he bought this ranch in 1881 called the Frying Pan Ranch. And really what it was like a testing facility for his barbed wire, and it was like a showroom. He wanted to prove to everybody that he could put up barbed wire and he could put cattle on it and they wouldn't get out. So he did that, became very popular, made a lot of money. And this dude named William Bush comes down from New York to take a look at this ranch. And he says, I like what y'all have here. I want to buy this ranch, or at least part of the ranch. And so William Henry Bush bought the land. Then in 1903, he founded Bushland.
It's a great name change because the imagery with Frying Pan Ranch just sounds like a hot, miserable place that I don't want to go to.
Well, and Glidden, it's funny you mentioned spray paint. I mean, I guess Glidden might have worked out okay if it was called Glidden Land.
Yeah.
But Bushland, has a little bit better ring to it. But this William Henry Bush, he had a hat company, and he also, this is the weirdest fact of all about William Henry Bush. He made his fortune off of helium. So he became a multimillionaire from selling helium deposits out in Bushland. So that's really like the most interesting thing about the history of the town I found. And as far as famous people from Bushland, if you go kind of look around online, it usually attributes most famous people in that area to Amarillo. But they do have some famous athletes, I guess famous-ish athletes from Bushland. In 2009, so I know I don't want to step on y'all's football analysis, but in 2009 they went to the state championship game and they lost to Muleshoe, but they had two players on their team who went to Colorado State. Both of them went to Colorado State, and both of them ended up as free agents in the NFL. And then they also have a quarterback at Oklahoma State. So I don't know if y'all talked about that or will at all, but
well, it's funny you brought up 09. That's the first time I remember being aware of Bushland because they were in the D2 division that year. That's the year that we won state, but we had a crazy district that year, and Bushland actually beat Callisburg in the semifinal. And
oh wow!
And Arbery went deep that year in the playoff with Coach Moore leading them. And that's the first time I remember hearing of Bushland was in the 2009 season.
Yeah, same. And then they as far as athletes go, those appeared to have been a couple of dudes because they were big guys. Both of them are like 6'5", 260, and they both went on to play in the NFL. So must have had a good team in 2009.
They went to state. They got beat by Dangerfield. Yeah, didn't work out.
But that's all. That's really all I got for Bushland. But it's cool to be on the podcast, and it's cool to have a small contribution, if any, to the show. So thanks for having me on.
Well, if anything, people hear a different voice than mine and Chance's, and so they're probably they're probably thankful.
Now, you did let your father down because if you listened to his podcast last week, no surprise that I didn't point it out for Clyde, but your father mentioned how many churches were in Shallowater, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed that you let him down and didn't research how many churches were in Bushland.
well, I will tell you this, that when Bushland first started in 1903, if you're listening, just so you know, They had four businesses, an elementary school, and a Baptist church. That was the whole town in 1903.
Way to make it up.
What more can you ask for? Now, Caleb, before we let you go, there is a special person on the Bushland roster that I think holds special meaning for me and you. And
okay.
That'd be number 28. He's a wide receiver and defensive back, 6 foot, 145-pound sophomore, Baylor King.
Oh, Baylor King. Sick him, Baylor. I hope.
Well, no, don't sick him, Baylor. Who are you rooting for? But no, I just I found that interesting. I thought you might enjoy. Keep your ears perked for old Baylor King.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet name.
It is. I like it. I think King Baylor would be cool, but Baylor King. That's all right. But hey, man, thank you for your wonderful insight into Bushland, and I guess I look forward to seeing you whenever I get to see you.
Yes, sir. I'll try to make it back to Pilot Point as soon as I can, and see everybody. But thanks for having me on. It was fun to learn a little bit about Bushland, and more fun just to hang out with y'all for a little bit tonight. So y'all have a good night. Enjoy.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Love you, bro.
Love you too.
Bye. All right. So live from Philadelphia.
Awesome.
So before we, unless you have you been doing, cut me off. Before we get to when Bushland has the ball, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Cat fans, one thing that I love about walking into the field house is looking at all the old pictures that you have from years past and being able to relive the history of those great teams and great players. And I love walking through with my sons and showing them a picture and saying, man, look at that guy, and telling them a story about a great play. And you can have the same opportunity to do that with your family by using Ashley Marsh Photography to capture your family's great memories. Seeing those pictures of your family will allow you to talk to your kids or your grandkids and tell great stories about things that you've done or things that you've seen or just funny memories that you might have. So if you ever want to document your family's history, please contact Ashley Marsh Photography. You can find her on Facebook, on Instagram using Ashley Marsh Photography, as well as her website, ashleymarshphotography.com.
Located in Pilot Point, Texas, the Chandler family has been making custom cabinets for over 40 years. As a team, Chandler Cabinets is committed to designing and building the perfect cabinets for you. They will make the process comfortable and stress-free by personally guaranteeing a superior product built on the standard of superior craftsmanship and immaculate customer satisfaction. From concept to completion, perfect form and function. Chandler Cabinets is an award-winning company with a reputation for consistent innovation at the highest level of design. You can find more information on Chandler Cabinets at chandlercabinets.net or on their Facebook page, Chandler Cabinets. Chandler Cabinets, 40 years of excellence.
Handle it.
Okay, now we're back from that commercial break, and first thing we're going to do is just talk in macro terms regarding Bushland. What do you got, Coach?
So Bushland comes into the game 9-2 overall. Okay, their 2 losses were to 2 number 1 teams in their division. They lost to number 1 Brock and number 1 Canadian. So there's no real blemish on the record that's, not something that they can't, I guess, make an excuse for or give a reason for.
I believe both of those are still in the playoffs. Well, I know one for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
But so they've taken care of business. They have, up to this point, they've put some points up, and they've played some pretty solid defense. They were threatened a couple times throughout the year, but for the most part, they've really, really taken care of business. Josh Reynolds is at the helm. This is his first year as the head coach at Bushland. And he's had a very successful first year. I hope if given the opportunity at some point to be a head coach athletic director that my first year goes as well as Mr. Josh Reynolds. Bushland overall has a relatively short history going back to 2006 was their first football season, and they have enjoyed an all-time record of 110, 55, and 1. We have a 15-1 season in 2009. I don't know if that was a state championship win or loss.
It was not. It was a loss. We talked about it earlier. To Dangerfield.
I wasn't listeing, apparently.
Shout out to you, Caleb.
Yeah, thanks, bro. All right, but they did come off a 12-1 2019, where they obviously went 3 deep in the playoffs and lost at that point. So they do bring in a track record of success. So there's always that to contend with. Being a relatively new program, they're not going to have, they're not knee-deep in tradition, but it looks like they're getting ankles deep for sure. Now, when they have the football, all right, Bearcat's going to be on defense. You're going to see various parts of their offense that are going to look very familiar with various parts of our offense. There's a little bit of overlap in the scheme. You'll see a lot more of a horizontal passing game than what we've presented the past few weeks. They love them some screens, and they really like this fake the screen, throw the deep ball off of it type action. They're very good at it, and they're led by number 2, Coleman Janelle, 5'11", 185-pound senior quarterback. That guy's the real deal. Good thing is we've been facing real deal quarterbacks for
since Plainview.
All year.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a bad quarterback that we've played this year. And we've seen guys that can throw it. We've seen guys that can run it. We've seen guys that can do both. We've seen it all. So I kind of see Mr. Coleman Janelle very similar to the Paradise quarterback. Has a great arm, can get it done. Has great legs, can get it done. And he's going to be a threat for sure. But he's going to be joined in the backfield by number 44, Ethan Fuentes, 5'11", 190-pound senior. Runs behind his pads. Think a lot like whenever Dorian had the ball. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of wiggle, but there's a whole lot of banging heads and tough yards going on.
To quote John with Aiden's run last week, this gentleman can find the truck stick.
Yes, he definitely pushes the truck stick early and often.
Gotcha. And
he's a good hard runner. And then they have just a stable of talented receivers. And they're good. They're very good. You have I'm not going to go through all their names because I'd be talking about names forever. They're good. They're not going to be. They have one big target, number 20, and that's going to be Brody Sutterfield. But other than that, they're all kind of smaller, quicker kids, and they'll cause problems if we allow them to.
So are they balanced, or if you had to?
I would consider them balanced, and that might not be percentage-wise balanced. They might not be 50-50 run pass. They might be, but I think they're equally efficient running the ball and passing the ball.
It's like Boyd, for instance. Lamance was a very good quarterback, but I felt like he was a run-first quarterback, not a balanced quarterback.
This you're looking at a balanced system as far as that goes.
Okay.
This guy can throw the ball well enough to be a threat. And so, look for a lot of quarterback GT. Like I said, the horizontal run game, or not horizontal passing game with the screens, and then the screen and go type look. They will run a little bit of fly sweep. They do it all. They have a little bit of everything in there. And so it'll be interesting to kind of see how the game develops and see the chess match between the Bushland coaching staff and Coach Freeze when they have the ball. We're gonna have to be on our A game. We don't have an opportunity for a mental lapse because any mental lapses they will capitalize on. Any blown coverage, expect a touchdown. Strike up the band, Bushland, because you just took it to the house. And then, we have to play gap sound football up front because they are very, very good at running the football. Big old offensive line. Number 78 is the one that really sticks out, mainly on the defensive line. But Eddie Moore, 6'4", 265-pound senior, is the real deal on both sides of the ball. He is a player.
How do they have a lot of two-way players? Like the quarterback, is he playing in the defensive backfield as well?
The quarterback is not as much of a two-way player. He will make an appearance, but they try to limit his reps as much as they can.
Since 1983, the Scott Walker Insurance Agency has been covering the insurance needs of Pilot Point. Regardless of what that need may be, they have you covered, offering homeowners, auto, life, farm and ranch, and commercial. Give them a call at 940-686-2692. That's Germania Insurance, the Scott Walker Insurance Agency, located just north of the town square at 211 Scott Lane in Pilot Point, Texas. Scott Walker Insurance Agency, always there to help.
We want to wish our varsity cheerleader, Abby, a great senior year. Love Mom, Dad, and Michael.
Hi, I'm Greg Pelzel. Here at Pelzel Printing, we do custom embroidery, custom screen printing, and promotional product. You can reach Greg Pelzel at 940-453-5443. Go Bearcats.
Pelzel Barbershop and Salon and Southern Junkies has been home of the Bearcats since 1973. Whether you are looking for a classic crew cut or the perfect game day outfit, we have you covered. We carry a few fan favorite brands including Hey Dude Shoes, Judy Blue Jeans, Z Supply Clothing, and Orleans Candle Company. Come check us out on the north side of the square in downtown Paula Point or online at www.southernjunkies.com, and that is junkies with a Z. And don't forget, go Bearcats!
There is no better source for local news than the Pilot Point Post-Signal. Pilot Point Post-Signal has been covering Pilot Point since 1878, providing award-winning, top-notch coverage of Pilot Point and the Pilot Point Bearcats. You can start your subscription today by going to postsignal.com and signing up for their special, which is 2 months free of the digital and print copy, or you can call their phone number at 940-686-2169. The Pilot Point Post-Signal, the best source for local
when the Bearcats
news.
have the ball. We've talked about it, and it's no secret. These guys watch film. They're going to have to pick their poison. Are they going to let it be an ish game, or are they going to let it be a max game? And who knows what they're going to decide to do. But they're going to line up, and you're going to see what is going to look like the Pilot Point Bearcats playing defense against the Pilot Point Bearcats. They run the same two schemes that we run. They run a ton of man. They're extremely high percentage on man coverage. They don't call a lot of blitzes because they don't have to, because they're in a pressure defense to begin with, but they will when they get in a four-man front. Spike a linebacker in there and blitz him, things like that. Number 78, Eddie Moore, he's going to play nose for him. He's going to be a big old boy in there that's going to give us fits if we allow him to. Solid linebackers. They're solid across the board. They really like, I think they're pretty high on number 1 in the secondary. That's Leaford Calder. They move him around in man, and I think they might put him on the best receiver and play matchup man on that and try to find positive matchups with the personnel that they have.
There's another pick your poison to be a Pilot Point homer.
Good
Who's
luck.
the best receiver?
Who do you want to put your best guy on?
Yeah.
If you put him on Aiden, then we have the other 3.
Yeah.
Put him on Jay. You have the other 3.
Put him on Avery.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
It is. It's a pick your poison type matchup. So it's going to come down to our ability to run our offense. Can we execute it? In a man pressure scheme like what they run, the good thing is if you ever make it to the second level, there's nobody there. The bad thing is you have to get to the second level. And they do a really good job of being gap sound, of playing good football. They don't seem to make many mental mistakes that we've seen. There are some things that stick out that we feel like we can exploit. And I think that we have a good game plan to take care of those things. But I don't know. I don't get in the prediction game. And I never will. I'm not going to get on here and try to give Bushland any type of bulletin board material, except that, buckle up, everybody, because it's liable to be a
Well, it is the third round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and
they don't get easier.
No, and they've done such a good job throughout the course of the year, and then we've done a good job. We're 9-3, they're 9-2. So we have one more contest than they do. They had, I guess, a COVID cancellation kind of in the middle of the year. We share a loss to Brock. Their loss to Canadian looks pretty similar to our loss to Gunner. Then we have the Whitesboro. They don't.
Yeah.
Maybe that COVID game that they missed, maybe that was their Whitesboro just waiting to happen.
Could be.
I do believe that game was against Perryton, if I remember correctly.
I probably have that here in front of me.
Yeah, well, enlighten us all. It's Perryton.
Okay.
You're too slow.
Okay. It's not even listed on Texas football.
That's because it was a cancellation.
So they just blank it out.
Yeah, it's like it never happened.
Wow. I was going to start looking at dates then. So then that wasn't good.
So, like I said, we're looking forward to a great contest. We sure hope that everybody has safe travels from Shallow Water, but that was last week. From Bushland all the way to Vernon, and then Pilot Point all the way to Vernon for a Thanksgiving week showdown.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right, well, we want to say a big word of thanks to our sponsors. That'd be Chandler Cabinets, Dana Walker with Germania Insurance, the Pilot Point Post Signal, Southern Junkies, Pelzel Printing, and last but not least, Ashley Marsh Photography. We sure thank those sponsors for supporting us. So Bearcat fans, please go support those local businesses. And, guys, happy Thanksgiving. And as always, go Bearcats.
Ho, ho!